Tarfon says no. Ma lezeh mevi shtei ashamot. Says, why are you going to bring the guy to bring two ashams? What do you mean? Don't I do that by hatat? Velo dami le'asham talui desafek chataot. The asham talui of asham me'ilut is not the same situation as asham talui of a hatat. The hatam by hatat sefeko ayil and vada is nekeva. This is two different korbanot. A hatat is a female animal. The asham is a male animal. It's nothing to do. I can't say, but watch what he has you do over here. Hilkach kimit yadale, when you find out, ba'ila atuya nekeva, bring the female animal. Aval zeh sheshnehem min echad keda'amar hatam, shemimin shemevi al avada, al hoda, mevi al hoda. So by asham talui and asham vadai, it's the same type of animal. It's a zachar. Right? Shezeh ayil v'zeh ayil, thank you. Yavi korban, keren v'chomish, pay the money. V'yavi ayil, and bring an ayil. V'yomar, and let him say like this. Im vadai ma'alti, if it's for sure that I made me'ilah, zu me'ilati v'zu ashami. This is my me'il, this is the money that I owe, and this is the asham, this is the korban. V'im safek, shelo atid sefeki lehi vadali. If the safek that happened, I'm never going to find out the answer. Right? Asham ze ye asham talui. V'hekdesh ze l'ndava. It's a donation. So I save money. Right? No, sort of. I potentially save money. If I'm going to find out, I stop myself from bringing two korbanot. Depends how much of a piece it was. If it's worth more than an animal or not. Right? V'hekdesh ze l'ndava. Ulchim et yadale. And when he finds out, yes, it was hekdesh, lo bai la'atuya asham harin. He doesn't have to bring another korban, because his korban went on the vadai. Alma. Now, so what's the problem? Why doesn't Rabbi Akiva say that? Sounds so simple. Make it tonight. If it's vadai, yeah, and if it's going to be a stay, a safek, like this. It's beautiful. Save money, save a whole korban. Alma, we see from Rabbi Tarfon. Lo ba'yedi'ah b'tchila. He doesn't have to know that he did an avirah to bring an asham vadai, because this guy is bringing the asham vadai, not knowing that he really sinned. Even though it says ohoda alav hatato, that's only by hatat. But by asham, I don't need hoda alav. I don't have to know that I sinned to be mechaper, to bring a korban. Good? One is a male, one is a female. I mean, they have slightly different rules. So he's saying they're both korbanot to be mechaper for averot. Yes. Right. So, but by Asham, that's one of the quirks of Asham from Hatat, according to Rabbi Tarfon, that it doesn't need Yedi'ah b'tchila. And Rabbi Akiva says no, it's the same. Right? So Alma lo ba Yedi'ah b'tchila be'Asham v'adai kodem avat kaparato. He didn't know that he sinned when he brought it, and it's still mechaper. So that's the first line. Amar Ula. This whole Rashi was to understand 3/4 of a line. Amar Ula. Leman da Amar, according to Rabbi Tarfon, who says, Asham vadai lo baye di abtchila. You could bring the Asham vadai al tanai, not having known before that for sure you sin. Rashi says, Asham vadai, kol Ashamot kiruyim Asham vadai. All the Ashamot are called Asham vadai. Chutz me Asham talui. Shehu ba'al lo hoda. That comes when you don't know. V'hen shelosha, there's 3. Haba'in al het. Asham me'ilut, Asham gezelut, Asham shefha harufa. Those are called Asham vadai. Ba'al hamesh be'ilot b'shefha harufa. So now, what's a shefha harufa? No, shefha harufa. I mean, she has a master, but no. So we hold that a shefha harufa is v'hi shefha neherefet leish. A shefha kiddushin is not tofsim ba. There's no kiddushin bichlal. So the fact that the shefha is miyuchad to the guy, that's not going to bring any type of korban. So we hold it's talking about a shefha, hetzia bat chorin. She's half free, half slave. And she was mekabel kedushin from somebody. So now, the half of her that's...
Somebody other than her master?
Not from her master. So the half of her that's free, the kiddushin is hal. The half of her that's a slave, the kiddushin is not hal. So you can't say she's a eshet ish. I'll tell you how exactly. No, not exactly. Very easy, no. You and I bought a slave partners. She was expensive. So we went partners. Then you went to a shiur and some abolitionist got up and spoke and he says how evil it is to own slaves. You came out, they like Amnon Yitzchak type of thing. They called you up to the thing and said, I free all my slaves! And everybody clapped and they sang songs for you. So now your half is free, my half is not. She's half free, right? So she works for me one day and then she works for herself one day. She works for me one day, she works for herself one day. It's classic case in the Gemara. So now she went, now she's independent half the time. So she went and she got engaged. She got kiddushin. Well, she accepted the ring. The guy said, and she took it. But it only works on half of her. It doesn't work on all of her. No. So she's not fully mikudeshet, but she's not at all mekudeshet. That's called shefha harufa. Hasham shefha harufa.
Totally different.
From what? Why? What does he say?
Rabbi Scroll says something different.
What does he say?
This refers to a Canaanite slave woman who has been designated as the maid of a Hebrew servant. Should another man cohabit with her, he is not subject to standard adultery penalty, execution for deliberate violation. Because the regular state of marriage does not exist for a Canaanite slave. Rather, the transgressor, whether deliberate or inadvertent, is liable to the penalty of an asham.
I don't know why they come up with that. Okay, that's the other shita. Albert, another cup of coffee. That's the other shita. Generally, we say the way I said. There is a shita like that, but if I'm not mistaken, we don't hold like that. Right? Ba'al hamesh be'ilo b'shivcha harufa. Eno hayav ela achat. So, what? No, any number. 5 for ayin hara. Right? Ba'al hamesh be'ilot b'shivcha harufa. Eno hayav ela achat. So that everybody agrees to. Let's see. Rashi. Ba'al hamesh be'ilot b'shivcha harufa. B'shogeg. By mistake. He didn't know that she was the shivcha harufa. V'noda lo ben kol achat ve'achat. And he found out in between that she was a shivcha harufa. The kids are like the mother. Half. I'm not sure. V'noda lo ben kol achat ve'achat eno hayav ela achat. He's only hayav one penalty. Yes. What? I'm not sure if it means that he found out in between every be'ah and forgot again, or he found out.
What does he find out? That she's a slave, or that she's?
Yeah, he's remembering. That she's engaged. That she's engaged.
But he's not.
What? Everybody follows the mother. The guy owns her. He owns the mother. He owns the kids. Ha'isha v'ladeha tehiyeh ladoneha. Pasuk.
Can we own chicken and
He just sees her up the street and he says,
Noda lo b'shogeg, v'noda lo ben kol achat ve'achat. Let's go. Eno hayav ela achat. Rashi says lahachi nakat shivcha harufa. Why we choose shivcha harufa? Mishum demevi korban echad al averot harbeh. Shivcha harufa has one difference than all other things, that even if you did it many times, you did that avera, you could bring one korban. Kedetnan bekiritut. Hey, 5 sins mevi'im korban echad al averot harbeh. They bring one korban for many averot. One of them is a baal shivcha biot harbeh. He could pay with one korban. V'chi tenan matnitin deniftar bekorban echad. When do we say you get one korban? Hani mili b'mezid. That's when he did it b'mezid, knowing that she was asur. Shehu min hamevi'im ala mezid keshogeg. Shivha, usually korban is only for shogeg. Shivha harufa is actually from the averot that you could bring a korban even if you did it b'mezid. Tichtiv bikoret tehiyeh umalkut b'shogeg leta. So bikoret means that you have to get malkut, and you can't get malkut b'shogeg. So therefore, it means that even on a mezid, you could bring a korban shivha harufa. V'gabe mezid Rabbi kera, by a mezid the Torah included. The niftar bekorban ehad al biot arbe. You could bring one korban for many sins. Kedyali fatam, like we learned over there. V'kol sheken, if a mezid you could bring a korban on many. Kol sheken al biot shogeg harbe behe'elem ehad. Mezid is all one he'elim because there's no he'elim. So by shogeg, it's also good if it's behe'elim ehad. You can bring many korbanot. Aval shogeg v'nodalo ben bi'ah lebi'ah. If he found that in between bi'ah lebi'ah, leman deba yedi'ah b'tchila, ben bi'ah lebi'ah. So what happens? He went to her. Are you engaged? She told him no. So he was with her. The next day, she finds out yes, she was. Okay. The next day, he goes back. Did you get the get yet? She says yes. The next day, she says no. Why does he keep trusting her? I don't know. But okay, he wants to fool himself. Engaged doesn't mean engaged like we do. Will you marry me? Hareya mikudeshetli. The guy gave a ring. He said hareya mikudeshetli with two witnesses. She's a full eshet ish.
Now you broke up.
Yeah, but they didn't used to. They used to be engaged without. They used to do that for engagement. They weren't like us wishy-washy. The G's gonna walk away. When they got engaged, they wanted to make sure that they had the girl locked up. But they weren't ready. How come when your daughter got engaged, how come she didn't get married? I need time. We got to make a wedding. So they would make the ring. But when we got engaged, they would give a ring. Give a ring and get married. They would be legally married, but not nisu'in. You want out? Give a get. Man's world. She can't just find some other guy and say I'm breaking up the engagement.
Locked in.
From a guy's position, it's much more guaranteed. No. Ve'asar lanu et ha'arusot ve'hitir lanu et ha'nesuot. Obviously. That's in the beracha, right? Asher ve'asar lanu et ha'arusot. Yes, it's an Isud Rabbanan. But we got a lot to do here. We didn't even start the daf. We're 20 minutes. We didn't start. So this guy, every time he thought she was mutar, right? Again, he wants to fool himself, right? Aval shogeg v'nodalo ben bi'ah lebi'ah. According to the opinion that holds that in order to bring an asham vaday, you need a yedi'ah. You have to know before that you sin to bring it. So hashiv hu, the yedi'ah therefore has an importance. Lehalek la'ashamot kehava'at kapara ha'mehaleket. Just like if you brought a korban after one, you can't pile up the second one on top of it because you already brought the korban. Since the yedi'ah is a prerequisite of bringing the korban, so the yedi'ah also divides it into separate ha'alamot. But, right, v'tzarich lavi kol ha'havehat ali b'd Rabbi Yochanan, according to Rabbi Yochanan, the amar le'el be'ochel shnei zetei helev. Be'elem echad v'noda lo b'shtei yedi'ot, shemevi hatat al kol ha'havehat. The hashiv aleh hiluk yedi'ah. According to Rabbi Yochanan, the yedi'ah is hashuv ki'ilu hevi korban ben yedi'ah liyedi'ah. Hachanami, so to here, hashiv hiluk yedi'ah ki'ilu hevi korban ben bi'ah lebi'ah. The yedi'ah is hashuv like you brought a korban between them. Va'ashmu'inan ula. So ula is teaching me, if you hold the yedi'ah as hashuv, then the yedi'ah is mehalek. It's like you brought a korban between them. Meaning, according to Rabbi Tarfon, that says that you don't need a yedi'ah before you bring a korban. Betchila ena hashuva lehalek. So then the yedi'ah is not important anymore. The lo hashiva le yedi'ah lo mehaleket. V'hamilta de'ula nakalahacha mishum de Rav Dimi. Okay, that's why we're bringing it. So it comes out, Ula is telling you like this. Even though by a hatat, you do need a yedi'ah, and the yedi'ah is mehalek according to everybody. By Asham Vadai, where Rabbi Tarfon holds you don't need a yedi'ah before you bring the korban. So the yedi'ah is not so hashuv. Since the yedi'ah is not so hashuv, it doesn't, even if you found out in between every bi'ah that she was a shivha harufa, it doesn't break it up, and you can bring one korban for all 5 bi'ot.
If he does it b'mezid,
If he does it b'mezid, for sure it's one korban. Because there's nothing to be mehalek. And if he does it b'shogeg,
Asham Vadai is not shogeg.
Asham Vadai comes for shogeg and mezid. If it comes for mezid, koshkin comes for shogeg.
Asham Talui is for shogeg, no?
Asham Talui is for when I don't know if I did it. Asham Vadai is when I know I did it, either b'shogeg or mezid. Yeah. Or with or without idiyah, depends on the So we say, in Mat Kifla Rav Hamnuna. Rav Hamnuna asked the question. Ela me'ata Baal. He was with the Shifha Harufa. V'hazaru Baal. Right? He did 5 times, right? I don't think you need Hazaru Baal. V'frish Korban. Right? He had to be out with her, and now he decided to do Teshuvah. So he put his Korban, and he goes and he takes it to the Beit HaMikdash, he gives it to her, and he says, you know something? Hold off. I'm going to go be with her another time. And then you'll bring the Korban. And this way, put him on. Baal, v'hazaru Baal, v'hefrish Korban, v'amar hamtinu li, wait for me. Ad shiv'ol, till I'm with her again, and then we'll bring it this way. Might as well get it all in. Hachinami, de'enu hayav alahat, does that work? Amar le, ma'aseh dil ahar afrasha ka'amart. Ma'aseh dil ahar afrasha lo ka'amina. Says, after hafrasha, I'm not talking about after hafrasha. Tosafot his body says, what's the hava amina that you could compare hafrasha to yedi'ah? What do you care if he's on his way to the Beit HaMikdash or he went to the Beit HaMikdash his way? What?
Why are you worried about that?
He was mafrish the korban. That's the main thing.
You didn't tell him for what yet?
He separated himself. He was makdish as a hatat, as an asham. Tosfot says, "V'nirei liri." Look in the middle of the Tosfot. Nirei lidachi parich. Kivan delo mehalkat ben yidi'ah sheben ma'asim lidiot shel ahar ma'asim. Ela me'ata hafrashot nami de'en mehalkot l'resh lakish le'ahar kol ha'ma'asim im timtze lomad hafrasha pligi. So according to Resh Lakish, who holds even hafrashot are not mehalkot, so you'll tell me even hafrashot doesn't make a difference? And even Rabbi Yochanan, maybe he only holds hafrashot for sure hiluk when it has a yedi'ah that's mehalek. But once the yedi'ah doesn't work, maybe the hafrasha also doesn't work. Okay, so he told him no. He says hafrasha ad kan tehum Shabbat. Hafrasha for sure you can't load anything up after you make the hafrasha. Okay. Ki atar Rav Dimi, when Rav Dimi came, because Ula came from Eretz Yisrael, Rav Dimi came after. Ki atar Rav Dimi amar, he said, Leman de amar Asham Vadai ba'yedi'ah b'tchila, according to the opinion that an Asham Vadai needs yedi'ah, meaning according to Rabbi Akiva, Ba'al Hamesh be'ilot b'shivha harufa, and he found that in between each one, Hayav al kol ha'ahat. He's Hayav for each and every one. Why? Because since yedi'ot are hashuv, you need yedi'ah to bring the korban, so yedi'ah is mehalek. Rashi says, they're not arguing. Ki atar Rav Dimi lo pali gad'ula ela mora marhada or mora marhada hayav al kol ha'ahat. Kasal kadaitin hashtel Rav Dimi hadetnan ala shifha habal shifha biot arbe eno hayav elahat hani mili mezid inami shogeg be'ele mehad aval shogeg v'nodal ubentayim leman de hashiva le'yedi'ah be'asham mehaleket, it's mehalek even according to Resh Lakish. So the Gemara says, I'll call a havahad. Amale Abaye, what do you mean? Why should it be like that? Hare hatat de ba'inin yedi'ah betchila. Hatat needs yedi'ah before according to everybody. Upligi Rabbi Yochanan ve Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, if yedi'ot is mehalkot. So too, by Asham Talui, we should argue, at least Resh Lakish should say that yedi'ot are not mehalek. Ishtik. He didn't answer him. Amar lei. Dilma b'ma'aseh del ahar hafrasha ka'amartu Rav Hamnuna. Maybe when you said Ba'al Hamesh Be'ilot, it's after a hafrasha. like Rav Hamnuna. Amar le'in, he said, yes, that's what I heard. Everybody agrees that after Hafrasha is no good. Ki ata Rabin, when Rabin came, he said like this, Amar, Hakol modim, everybody agrees, b'shivha harufa. Everybody agrees by shivha harufa that, he said like, Hakol modim b'shivha harufa, v'hakol modim b'shivha harufa, u'mahlok b'shivha harufa. Right? Hakol modim b'shivha harufa, de'eno hayav ela achat, kid'ula, meaning that if you hold, you don't need a diyah, everybody agrees, the diyah is not mehalek, one. V'hakol modim b'shivha harufa, meaning that's even Rabbi Yohanan and even Rish Lakish, who both argue about yediot mehalkot legabe chatat, legabe asham. If you hold like Rabbi Tarfon, the whole thing is well. Yediot are not important. V'hakol modim b'shivcha harufa, the hayav hakol ahav echad kid Rav Hamnuna. Meaning, if you already mafrish the korban, everybody agrees, nothing after hafrasha. Umachlok b'shivcha harufa. Leman da amar Hasham vadai ba yedi'ah. According to the opinion that you need a yedi'ah, needs yedi'ah, so the yedi'ah is hashuv. Mahloket Rabbi Yohanan and Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish. According to Rabbi Yohanan, yedi'ot are hashuv and they'll be mehalek. According to Rish Lakish, just like yedi'ot are not mehalek after, they're not mehalek in between. Rashi, umahloket Rabbi Yohanan and Rish Lakish b'shivcha harufa, v'aliba demand the hashiv alei yedi'ah, the asham. According to the one that holds yedi'ah, asham is hashuv. Let Rabbi Yohanan the amar yedi'at hatat. Ho'il v'hashiva hi mehaleket. Afilu hatat the he'elem echad. It will divide up one he'elem. Find and get about it separately. We'll make it into two. Hachanami mehaleket. So too by shivcha harufa mehalek. Ben the he'elem echad, ben the shtei ha'alamot. Urlesh Lakish, the Amar Yedi'ah de Hatat, Afagav de Hashiva, Lo Mehaleket, even though it's important, because you need it, it's not Mehalek. Averot, Lo Mehaleket, Averot, de Ale Mehad into two. Hacha, Afilu de Shtei Ha'alamot, Lo Mehaleket, it won't divide or depreciate. Okay. The Gemara continues. Itmar we learned. Netkaven, this is what we call, this Gemara is talking about what we call mitasek. Mitasek is, we have a shogeg, right? And we have two ways of shogeg. One way of shogeg is you forgot it Shabbat, right? And one way is you forgot it's asur. So when you go to the bathroom, right, and on your way out, you close the lights button. What's that? I forgot it's asur. I forgot it's Shabbat. Forgot it's Shabbat. It's an instinctive action, like Rabbi Ishmael when he karav hita. At that second, he forgot it's Shabbat. The knowledge that it's Shabbat wasn't on me, because if I knew it was Shabbat, I for sure wouldn't have done this, right? So even though I didn't think about anything, that's called I knew it's Shabbat. Now we have another case. Mitasek means I didn't want to do anything. Nitkaven lagbi et talush v'hatach et mehubar. Rashi says the case is, your knife fell down in the jungle. You wanted to pick it up. As you picked it up, it cut. You didn't even realize. I didn't want to do anything.
All you want to do is pick up the knife.
I want to pick up the knife. Knife is mukseh? Alright? Kegon. Kegon. He's mahmir. He only eats with his hands. Right? Nitkaven. What? Why? If you could use it for, maybe. If you use it for things, maybe not. Anyway, this is a regular knife. Nitkaven lagbi et talush. Kegon denafal sakin ba'arugat hayerek. Rashi says your knife fell in a vegetable patch. V'nitkaven lagbio. He wanted to pick it up. V'hatach et mehubar patur. Dechtiv asher hata ba. V'darshina b'kritut prat lemit'asek means mit'asek b'davar acher v'asa davar ze. I was doing something else and this happened. V'shogeg heichidami, what shogeg? Kigon shenitkaven lekach. I wanted to do it. Aval shagag, the savar either she'en hayom Shabbat or savar shemlacha zu muteret. V'zu mit'asek bagba was busy picking something up. V'lo b'haticha. So that's like you're leaning, you're standing by a Brit Milah on Shabbat and you're leaning on the wall and you shut the lights on everybody. It's happened to everybody. That's not shogeg. It's mit'asek.
In the house.
I wasn't turning, I wasn't doing, I was just standing there, right. Even if I didn't get squished, I was stupid. I leaned on the lights, but I wasn't planning on doing it. That's mit'asek. Right. נתכוון להגביר את התלוש וחתך את המחובר פטור. Now, לחתוך את התלוש וחתך את המחובר. You wanted to cut something that you thought was talush, and it turned out it wasn't talush.
Yeah, but when I saw the Rambam,
Then he's really negligent.
I thought I was doing something mutar. Rava Amar Patur, Abaye Amar Hayav. Rava Amar Patur, still mit'asek. The halonit kaven the hatichad isura. I thought I was doing something mutar. Now I thought that the isur is mutar. I didn't know what it was. I thought I didn't see it was connected.
now, next, yeah,
Rashi. The guy leaning on the wall also didn't check that there was a switch there. The ha lo yichaven achaticha de'isura b'shegigat Shabbat or b'shegigat melachot. Ela mit'asek b'chatichat heter. He was chopping cucumbers and this one happened to be there. Sheyodea shu Shabbat v'yodea shechatichat mechubar usur. Abaye Amar Hayav. The ha kamechaven l'chaticha be'alma. Don't tell me you mit'asek. Mit'asek is when you're just lifting something up and you cut. Over here, you wanted to cut. You just didn't know it was a sur. No, that's the first case. This case, I'm chopping. I thought that the cucumber was not connected, and it was. Amarava. Mina minala. How do I know that even if you mitkaven lahaticha dehetera, it's considered mit'asek? The Tanya we learned. Homer Shabbat mish'ar mitzvot. V'homer she'ar mitzvot mishabbat. Shabbat is more hamur than other mitzvot, and other mitzvot are more hamur than Shabbat. Shabbat asa shtayim be'elem echad hayav al kol ahad ve'ahad. By Shabbat, if you do two avirot in the same he'elem, you can be hayav on each one. Ma she'en ken b'sh'ar mitzvot. By other mitzvot, you don't have that. V'homer she'ar mitzvot mishabbat. Other mitzvot are more hamur than Shabbat. שבשאר מצוות שגג בלא מתכוון חייב. If you did it בשוגג without מתכוון you חייב. We're going to explain it. מה שאין כן בשבת. On Shabbat that doesn't apply. Amar Mor. This is going to be Rava's proof. Now we have to analyze it slowly. Amar Mor, we said, Homer Shabbat mishar mitzvot. Shabbat is more hamur than other mitzvot. Shabbat Asa shtayim be'elem echad hayav kol ahad ve'ahad. By Shabbat, if you did two melachot and one forgetfulness, you hayav for each one. Ma she'en ken b'shar mitzvot. By other mitzvot, you don't have that. Hey chidami, what's the case? Ileima de'avid ketzira v'techina. He did ketzira and techina. Bizdon Shabbat shegigat melachot. So he's chayav too. Dachvate gabe she'ar mitzvot. By other mitzvot, what's the parallel to that? You can't say it's chelev and chelev. It's the same thing. That's kitzira and kitzira. So you have to say by she'ar mitzvot it's chelev adam. So what's the difference? Hachatati mechayev v'hachatati mechayev. Over here is chayav too. Over here is chayav too. Ela she'ar mitzvot delo mechayev ela hada heichidami. Where's two mitzvot that you hayav only one? The achal chelev v'chelev. He ate chelev and chelev. Very good. The chvate gabe Shabbat. The avid ketzira v'ketzira. Hacha chada mechayev. Hacha chada mechayev. So the whole comparison here is no good.
What's the bottom line now?
What's the case? That's the problem. What's the different Shabbat and everything else? If you do the same thing twice, you hayav one. If you do two different ones, you hayav two. Where do you find Shabbat being different? So we say, Ela le'olam de'avid ketzira ve'ketzira ve'techina. He did ketzira and techina. Okay, so he's hayav too. Umay ma she'en ken b'shar mitzvot doesn't mean all other mitzvot. Avodah zarah. The parallel is avodah zarah. Uchdrav ami. The Amar Rami, Avodah Zarah also sort of has different categories. The Amar Rabbi Ami, Zibeach v'kiter v'nisech. He was shochet the animal, and he was maktir the dam, and he poured the wine, b'ha'alama hat, all in one ha'ilem, eno hayav ela hat. Even though he did like different Avodah Zarah, but on Shabbat he did Kotzer and Tohen is hayav too. So that you have Hiluk Milachot by Shabbat, and there's no Hiluk Milachot by Avodah Zarah.
So if we worship two deities under the same prayer,
To what?
two deities under the same prayer, it's only one transgression.
Over there it's only one Ma'aseh.
Because
He's saying,
how many gods? They have 70 million, the elephant.
he's doing, Bobby, you're talking something that's not such a big chidush. You're saying, the guy says one prayer to the whole pantheon, right? Of course he only have one. There's only one ma'aseh. Over here the guy's doing much more. He did three ma'asim that each one is enough to be mehayevim hatat. He made the shahita. Let's say you had three guys, me and Eli and Rahamim, we all three I did the shahita, he did the zit, he did that. Each one of us is chayav. Each one is chayav. So now everybody was absent today. I did all three. So you'll say, you did three, bring three korbanot. It's three separate ma'asim. It's different things. It's each one is a different avodah to avodah zarah. That in itself is enough to be mehayev. In hiluk avodot by avodah zarah. Avodah zarah doesn't have what we said by Shabbat, that every av melacha is different. Avodah zarah, it's all the same. Rashi. The Rabbi Ami, b'masechet Sanhedrin b'perek dal mitot, yalif lemilta mikra, he learns it from Pesukim, the in hiluk hataot la'akum. You don't have this differentiation of hataot by avodah zarah. B'mayu kimta, so what are you talking about by avodah zarah? Ema seifa. Homer b'shar mitzvot. Other mitzvot are different. Shebishar mitzvot, which shar mitzvot means avodah zarah. Shebishar mitzvot, shagag belo mitkaven. If he did it by accident without intention, hayav. He's chayav ma she'en ken b'Shabbat. What does that mean? Hay shagag belo mitkaven to avodah zarah hechidami. What's the case? Ilema kasavur bet hakeneset hu v'ishtahavala. He's walking down the street in Brownsville and he sees a place that says Kahal B'nei Yeshurun or something to that effect, right? So he says, B'jenin, it's a shul, I gotta pray Minhai, he prays Minhai, makes Nefilat Abayim, he bows down facing the Hechal. All of a sudden he looks, he sees people coming out there, wearing crosses. What happened? They moved out, they sold the shul to the Goyim. Right? They sold it to Goyim. So here it was, he thought he was bowing down to the shul, and he bowed down to the church. You tell me that's chayav? Hareli boy lo shamayim. What do you want from the guy? He thought he was bowing to Hashem. Wow, there's plenty of shuls in Brownsville that now became churches. That for sure. Go there, you'll see them. You see a Magen David and they put a cross on the top.
The Pentecost.
Wow.
Pentecost Christians, they have Magen David on the outside of the
Could be, but there's a lot of places that shuls. There was a shul. I mean, it's a problem, but there are plenty of shuls. You know, who's in the market to buy a big building like that? Churches. Churches. When they move out of the neighborhood, the churches are the best buyer. Okay, yeah. Hare shagag velo mitkaven. So that's one. So that doesn't work. Hare libo l'shamayim. Ve'ela dehazi andarta v'sagidla. He saw a picture of the king, and he bowed down to it, not for avodah zarah. Hey chidami. So what did he do? If he accepted it to be his God, mezidu. He knew what he was doing. If he didn't accept it as a God, lav klumu. It's not avodah zarah, and he's not doing anything.
You're allowed to bow down.
So it says, you're allowed to bow down to the king. You have to bow down to the king.
Not
Obama.
Bow down to the Saudi Arabian.
Yeah. Ela dehazi andarta v'sagid lahi. So we said that's not a problem. Ela me'ahava v'yir'ah. We did avodah zarah me'ahava u'miyir'ah. What's me'ahava u'miyir'ah? Rashi says me'ahavat adam or mir'at adam. He loves somebody, so he did avodah zarah, or he's afraid of somebody, so he did avodah zarah. V'kari le shogeg belo mitkaven, kilomar shagag behachi. His mistake was the savar kivan she'em mitkaven libo le'elahut. In his heart, he doesn't believe in it mutar. That's his shogeg. Shagag belo mitkaven. He doesn't want to do avodah zarah, but he's bowing down, and he knows it's a god. You're not allowed to do that, even if you're not mikabel be'elahut.
I don't understand the case.
So if it's a God, you're not allowed to bow down?
Right.
So if it's a king that thinks he's a God,
He probably wouldn't be allowed to bow down either. If we have time, I'll read the Tosfot. Let's see. So he said, according to Abaye, that says Hayav me'avav yirah is good, because that's what it says. Shogeg belo mitkaven is Hayav. Ela Rava da Amar Patur. My ikalame, my Hare Shagag belo mitkaven is still Patur, and we hold the Baraita says Hayav. Ela be'omer mutar. He thought it was mutar. He thought you're allowed to do avodah zarah. How? Rashi says, "Kegon ger shenit gaye ben anochrim." He converted to Judaism, but nobody told him you're not allowed to do avodah zarah, like we had before. Kasavur she'en avodah zarah b'Torah, v'kari le shogeg belo mitkaven, because he doesn't even know. Ma she'en ken b'Shabbat. So if he didn't know avodah zarah was asur, that's shogeg belo mitkaven. Ma she'en ken b'Shabbat, te patur legamre. So you're going to tell me on Shabbat it's totally patur if he doesn't know? That's not true. Ad kan lo ba'amine Rava merav Nachman. Ela ile hayev hada ile hayev tarte. When we had the guy that didn't know was Shabbat and didn't know melachot wa asurot, the question was, he's hayav 1 or 2? Right? But he's definitely hayav something. Aval miftare legamre lo. Elalav, so you have to say, Reisha be'akum, v'seifa b'sh'ar mitzvot. The Reisha, when it says sh'ar mitzvot, is avodah zarah. And the Seifa, when it says sh'ar mitzvot, it doesn't mean avodah, it means any other thing. V'shagag be'lo mitkaven b'sh'ar mitzvot heichidami. What shagag be'lo mitkaven b'sh'ar mitzvot? The savur de shuman, who he thought it was shuman, v'achalo, and he ate it. Ma she'en ken b'Shabbat, te patur. But on Shabbat, if he did that, he'll be patur. What's that? V'nitkaven lachtoch et hatalush, v'chatach et hamechubar. He thought he was cutting something not connected, and he cut something connected, and he's patur. V'abaye, what are you going to do with that? Shagag belo mitkaven echidami. Tesavur roku. He thought it was phlegm. Ubal'o. And he swallowed it. Don't ask why. So that's why he didn't even want to eat. That's not called eating. Masha'en ken b'Shabbat, which is similar to picking up. He wanted to pick up the knife. And he cut. Masha'en ken b'Shabbat, the patur, the nitkaven lagbi et atalush. וחתך את המחובר פטור, אבל נתכוון לחתוך את התלוש וחתך את המחובר חייב. We'll go over it again tomorrow, that part. Just a little bit. Tosfot was bothered. So how do you have a case? How does Rava say that if you over avodah zarah, me'ahava yir'ah, you patur? What's yir'ah? The guy says, "I'll kill you if you don't do avodah zarah." I mean,
I don't understand that case.
it's not better than that. So why should you be patur? And me'ahava? This guy's going to church because he wants to date some goya, right? What? Right. V'im tomar v'ha'amar בפרק בין צורר ומורר דעבודה זרה וגילוי עריות ושפיכות דמים ייהרג ואל יעבור. So what you're saying, Rava, I did it me'ava, not because I believed in it, it's patur. Yareg val yavor.
Isn't it like he honors him to a level like reach avodah zarah?
No.
Like ahava to that level, like
No. It's oved me'ahava, not ahava that's close to avodah. He did it. Im ken afil, he's going to church sketch. She's going with my girlfriend over here. She's been nagging me to come to her church. So nice, it's so nice. Right? Im ken, but you see from the fact that yareg, if that's patur, so why is yareg val yavor? I'm not believing it. The guy's not. He put it against my head, but he can't make me believe in that stupidity, right? Im ken afilu lo mekabel lehayav, ve'en lomar derava leta'ameh, de'amar de'afilu ba'avodah zarah betzina v'chay b'hem v'lo she'amut b'hem. Rava holds that you don't have to be yareg val yavor if it's betzina. Because it's not true. ויש לומר, דסבר רבה, דאפילו למאן דאמר דחייב למסור את עצמו, אם לא מסר את עצמו, לא מחייב מיתה בבית דין. There's a svara like this. He says, really, you're not allowed to do avodah zarah at all. And if you do it, and to do it even without accepting it be'eloah is asur, and you have to be moseh nafsho. But if you did it without accepting it, you're patur. Not so satisfying. L'maisa, we hold that if the goy put the gun to your head and you did avodah zarah, even though you were hayav to be moser nefesh, you're not hayav mitah because you're an honest.
Once you cook it, it can't become again less.
When do you ever hayav mitah?
Hayav mitah, you do it willingly. You're hayav to let yourself be killed, meaning it's better for you. It's better for you to let yourself be killed than to do the avodah zarah. Why? Spiritually, you're charging yourself much more. You're losing much more. Better to die, you'll get a much bigger sachar, you lose much less. But if you did it, Beit Din is not going to kill you because you're an honest. Rav is, that's what the Rambam holds. Rav is saying Beit Din is not going to kill you because it wasn't a full avodah zarah. But it's still, you hayav to be mekadesh Shem Shamayim by not doing the avodah zarah.
Were not necessarily, they had the gun to their head.
Right, they wouldn't be hayav mitah. There's long teshuvot about it in the Rivash and that who lived in those times, and they say if they had the opportunity to leave and they don't, then they're not considered anus anymore.